I have been kind of down some rabbit holes or whatever you want to call them um, on this Satan's little season and the whole Tartaria stuff and the land of Iesu, or the Terre de Iesu, or the land of Jesus. And I am just really curious. This is like I'm just scraping the surface, and I wanted to kind of share what I discovered. It's kind of, I mean, some of you might be like, no, that's nothing. And some of you might be like, whoa, that is crazy. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with this lady's video. She is leaving Babylon, and I pretty much like found her through looking for the Satan's Little Season stuff. So she started talking about Terre de Iesso, or the land of Jesus, in these old maps. Okay, and she loves reading maps. Anyway, you need to check her out. She's really knowledgeable. She has a lot of good videos that I'm gonna watch like every single one of her videos. Okay, leaving Babylon, and here's this one she made a little short on, so I'm just gonna let you watch that with me. And so she's showing you up there where you can see the land of Jesus on this old map. I've also I was watching another YouTuber, and she talks about like the Northern Lights. And I think this woman, I forget what her name is. I'm sorry if you're watching this and I think her name's Madeline or Madeline. And there was this other YouTuber though that I was watching where they talk about, okay, let me pause this. And now let me take you to, well, actually, let me go back to the earth. Okay. So, the other YouTuber that she was talking about the Northern Lights, and that, again, piqued my curiosity. I'm like, okay, what's going on there? And I started searching, right? Okay, just wanted to show you here what I'm talking about. Okay, again, Terre de Iesso, right? These are the maps that people are showing. This is right here, California. Sorry if it's not zooming in. There, Terre de Iesso. I know this is like very like unedited and all of that, but I just wanted to get this out. Again, another map, right? Up close, what you're looking at. Here's like Japan, and this is like the area, look, Tartare. So that's the Tartaria, so that's like where the Bering Strait is, near that area. Here's the California, so this should be like Alaska and California. And then I saw this one, same thing. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, here, Terre de Iesso. And then over here, I think it's also, which the other picture, this one, the Mer de Iesso, which is the Sea of Jesus. Okay, some people say that Iesu is actually a Japanese word, that it's not really meaning Jesus. Okay, so again, I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to defend or go against this. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that it does mean Ieso in Latin. And somebody might say, no, that's not right. But whatever. Again, this is for fun and curiosity, and I like to look at stuff like this. The Leaving Babylon YouTuber was saying that there are a lot in some other maps that she studied. There's a lot of things like that align with Bible stuff. So, which is interesting too, because back in the day, right, people were creating maps, and they were very into the reign of Christ, right? Which that's why I'm on like seeking all of this, is because if Jesus did come already, so his second coming has happened. It happened around the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Then the 1,000 year, right, the millennium happened. Then Okay, you know, I don't know. It just makes you think. Okay, back to this. Oh, this is also her channel, Leaving Babylon, and she kind of goes through all of the different maps. Okay, and I'm just gonna play a little bit of this because you can see it here. You see where my where my thing is, and then you can see she's zooming in on. I'm gonna say the Terre de Iesso, the strait, probably the. Oh, I think it's over here. Somewhere. Yeah, there it is. See, right there. Okay. And she kind of takes you through some of the similar things that I'm kind of telling you about. But wait, you gotta wait though, okay? Because I got something to show you, and you're gonna be like, what? Okay, again, Terre de Iesso. Okay, Ieso. Okay. And go watch her stuff because she can explain it way better than me. Oop, sorry. There it is again. Okay, now I'm going to now show you what I'm talking about, what she was talking about on a map. Okay, so basically this area here, right, the quote unquote North Pole, right in here, is where they say was this land of Jesus. That's what I'm understanding. Okay. Now I'm going to show you on Google Earth what I discovered. And I would love it if you chime in because this is like kind of interesting. Okay, now here we go. We're zooming in, right? This is Google Earth. And as I learned all this information, I'm like, okay, where would it be? And so as I'm looking into Google Earth, so here's the right Russia, and here's Alaska, here's the United States, here's Canada. Here's that Bering Strait. Okay, I'm going to zoom in because I started like looking around and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then I started looking up here at the North Pole, right? And you see this mass of something up here, right? Whatever. Here's Greenland, I guess. No, not Green. Yeah, Greenland, right? Yeah, Greenland. Okay. And then I was like, this is kind of weird, but this literally looks like a face. You see it? It's a face with a mouth. I'm outlining it with this cursor here. With a beard. Okay. And look, a turban. A turban extends back this way. And then I was like, oh, look, it's its eye right here, right? Oh, no, here's the nose, the open mouth, the beard, right? It's like interesting, right? Okay, now also I was like, oh, it kind of looks like also like a lion, right? A lion wearing a turban. Before I show you this one last thing, which is gonna make you think like, what the heck is that? No, truly, you're gonna be like, what is that? Okay, so here is the land of Jesus that they say it was once existed. But I'm thinking like, literally, it looks like a face. Okay, now I'm gonna show you something on here, right here, and look where the 90 degrees is, like right in the center of its mind, right? It's like, to me, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the mind of Christ, right? I was showing some friends of mine and my husband, and they were kind of like, okay, I see it. I'm like, but that's wild. In the space right here, in the center of its mind. To me, that just is pretty darn cool, don't you think? 90 degrees right there. Okay, now I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to show you what I saw, something else. And I got to zoom in for this because you'll see it in a second. Okay, wait, where is it? Oh gosh. Sorry, as I'm navigating this. Okay, you're going to pay attention to this area. Sorry, this area right here, okay? You're going to pay attention to that as I'm zooming in. I'm sure you're starting to see what I'm talking about. Right here. it looks like there's writing, doesn't it? And you can pull this up on your own Google Earth. And so as I was looking, okay, as I was looking, I showed my husband, and he said, oh, it looks like it says Christ, CHR, right? It does, right? Kind of plays with your mind right there. Then I thought, okay, wait, what is that? As I'm zooming in, it looks like 1818. I don't know. I'm just thinking, what is this? Okay. I looked it up on ChatGPT because I wanted to know, like, what could that be? Like, what does that say, right? And I didn't tell ChatGPT anything about it. Like, I was like, you know, what does you think this says? And it knew right away that it was part of the part of Google Earth and the ocean floor. And, you know, and I call it he, my ChatGPT was saying, yeah, you know, let me see if I can pull it up, the conversation I had with it. All right, so I asked it, can you tell me if this says anything? What I circled in this photo looks like writing. Okay, you see that? So then it says, no, it's not writing. It's the seafloor texture. Okay. And then it just kind of tells me like what it was and what it is, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, let's just say you can make out some sort of writing or saying. See what you can see. What might it say? Okay. And then it said, all right, just for fun and not as a real interpretation of the seafloor, I'll look at the shapes as if they were stylized letters. Here's what I can see if I let my brain treat the ridges like handwriting. It's funny. It's brain. It has a brain. ChatGPT has a brain. So it says, what the shapes loosely resemble imaginatively. So it says, looking at the left to right pattern, the ridges kind of form. And then it starts to give me like all of these like letters, right? What they think it might be. Then it says like man 3, mark, Manir. Okay, another angle. So it starts to say series of runes or ancient script. Okay. And then again, it tells me like, no, it's, you know, whatever, right? Then I say, okay, what is that? So I did more of a close-up, right? Of this picture of the Google Earth. And then it started saying, okay, Christine, this one actually has a much clearer handwriting illusion because the shapes are tighter and more curved. Still not real writing, but I can absolutely tell you that it resembles, if we read it like cursive. Okay, so then it starts to like to say, oh, it could be this, this, or this. And so then it literally, like I said, I didn't say anything about it. I didn't even tell it what I was thinking, you know, like the research that I've been doing. And it said that. It says, so if I let my brain read it like a word written in loose cursive, the whole thing most resembles Elhurst or Churst or Christ. Surprisingly, it really gives that shape if you squint. Isn't that wild? Anyway, so then I just kept going. I was like, here's another. And then it was like telling me, you know, it was kind of going like Murray, and then it started saying all kinds of stuff. And then it was like Christ, 1818 at Murray. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And, oh, and then I said, oh, what does a Murray mean? And then it says, oh, it could be the Maori, right? In that area, like New Zealand, okay? And then it says amore. There's amore, like love. So then it was like Christ love. And I was like, whoa, okay, definitely. I'll take that. Anyway, then I was asking it about some 1818, like what the number could be. And, the Hebrews, the Strong's Hebrew 1818, it means blood, lifeblood, right? Right. To me, that's okay. Interesting. And then he says, here's the part that gives chills. This is the same word that foreshadows Christ's blood. The idea that life comes through sacrifice. So the Strong's meaning of 1818 is blood, life through blood, atoning sacrifice. Okay, so it continues on to say all of this other stuff, right? And you do your own research. That's what I'm saying. You do your own research. This is all that I found through ChatGPT. I started, after all of that, I'm like, okay, so what else? What do you think? Here's another photo. And then he says, he or she, or it's a he, because I named it Carter in my ChatGPT, okay? All right, Christine, now that I can see the full continuous line, I can read it. Long piece of handwriting. So then it starts to change it, saying like Morris, Morris. Okay. And then I keep entertaining it, right? Like just playing along like with it, like asking more questions. And then it says here, this is where, because I was like, okay, what about now? And then it says, Christine, I need to pause us here gently and reset with care and honesty. I can absolutely keep looking at shapes with you, but I can't continue pretending they're forming real words or messages, because that crosses into creating meaning where none exists. Anyway, I thought it was pretty funny. So I just wanted to share that with you because it truly is interesting that, oh, and here's that writing, right, that I showed you here, which you can look it up on Google Earth yourself, is right at the mouth of this figure. At the mouth of this figure. And it's in the back of the throat. I'll show you again. Isn't that wild? All right, take care.